What's up, everyone? Today, we're diving into the world's most forbidden foods. These aren't just weird snacks, these are meals so dangerous, illegal, or taboo, most people wouldn't dare try them. I've uncovered 3 true stories of people who risked everything for a taste of the forbidden. We'll see what drove them, the risks they took, and the wild consequences they faced. The last story is the craziest, trust me. You'll never look at your dinner plate the same way again. Buckle up, smash that like button, and let's jump into the first story. Our first story takes us to Japan, a land of ancient traditions and culinary artistry, but also a place where danger can lurk beneath the surface of even the most exquisite delicacies. We're about to delve into a tale of risk, defiance, and a brush with death that will leave you questioning the lengths people will go to for a taste of the forbidden. Home of the infamous fugu, or pufferfish. A culinary enigma, fugu is both revered and feared in equal measure. Its delicate flavor is highly sought after, yet it carries a deadly secret within its organs. Fugu contains tetrodotoxin, a neurotoxin concentrated primarily in the liver, ovaries, and skin of the fish, a poison over 1,000 times deadlier than cyanide. Just a minuscule amount can paralyze the nervous system, leading to respiratory failure and ultimately, death. There's no antidote. Once the poison takes hold, the body is defenseless. Medical intervention can only provide supportive care, hoping the patient's system can somehow fight off the toxin. Chefs train for years to prepare it safely, mastering the intricate art of removing the poisonous organs without contaminating the edible flesh. The process requires precision, patience, and an intimate understanding of the fish's anatomy. But even then, mistakes can be fatal. A single slip of the knife, a moment of carelessness, can have devastating consequences for both the chef and the diner. But this story isn't about a chef. It's not about the meticulous training and rigorous standards that govern the preparation of fugu in restaurants. It's about Kenji Tanaka, a seasoned fisherman with years of experience navigating the treacherous waters of the Japanese coast. A fisherman who thought he could handle the risk. He believed his years at sea had given him a unique understanding of the puffer fish, an understanding that surpassed even the most highly trained chefs. Kenji had sold puffer fish to restaurants for years, witnessing firsthand the demand for this dangerous delicacy, and watched chefs make big money off the delicacy. He saw the profit margins and began to resent the fact that he, the one who risked his life to catch the fish, was only getting a fraction of the reward. One night, after a big catch, a particularly successful haul of puffer fish, Kenji's ambition got the better of him. Kenji decided to prepare fugu liver, a decision that would test the limits of his arrogance and bring him face to face with the deadly power of tetrodotoxin, the most poisonous part, banned in Japan since 1984. The ban was put in place to prevent accidental deaths from improper preparation, but Kenji believed he was above such precautions. His friends begged him not to do it. They knew the risks, they understood the dangers, and they pleaded with him to reconsider his reckless plan. He laughed it off, calling them cowards. He dismissed their concerns as mere fear, a lack of understanding of the sea and its bounty. With only his fisherman's knife, a tool designed for the rough work of the sea, not the delicate art of fugu preparation, Kenji tried to mimic the expert cuts he'd seen from afar. He had watched the chefs in restaurants, but watching is not the same as doing, especially when dealing with a substance as lethal as tetrodotoxin. He sliced the liver, his movements clumsy and imprecise compared to the practiced hands of a trained fugu chef. Proud and defiant, convinced that his self-taught skills were sufficient to overcome the inherent dangers, and served it sashimi style. He arranged the thinly sliced liver on a plate, presenting it to his horrified friends as if it were a culinary masterpiece. His friends watched in horror, their faces etched with disbelief and fear as they realized the gravity of Kenji's actions. As he ate the first piece, he picked up a slice of the deadly liver with his chopsticks and confidently placed it in his mouth. At first, nothing happened. A wave of relief washed over Kenji, reinforcing his belief that he had mastered the art of fugu preparation. Kenji boasted about the taste, savoring the moment and reveling in his perceived triumph over danger. He declared the liver to be delicious, a testament to his skill and bravery. Then, the tingling started. A subtle, almost imperceptible sensation that quickly escalated into a terrifying ordeal. Lips, the first sign that the deadly toxin was beginning to take effect, a warning that Kenji's gamble had gone horribly wrong. Tongue, the tingling intensified, spreading rapidly and signaling the paralysis that was soon to come. Face, The numbness crept across his face, a chilling premonition of the complete bodily shutdown that tetrodotoxin inflicts. Then numbness in his hands. He tried to clench his fists, but his fingers wouldn't respond. The realization of his impending paralysis washed over him. Panic set in as he struggled to breathe. The paralysis was now affecting his respiratory muscles, making each breath a desperate effort. His body was paralyzed, but his mind was fully aware. He was trapped inside his own body, a prisoner of his own arrogance and recklessness. His friends called an ambulance, their voices trembling with fear as they described Kenji's symptoms to the emergency dispatcher, but the paramedics could do little to directly counteract the poison's effects, except put him on a ventilator, a machine that would breathe for him as his own body failed. For 2 days, Kenji lay motionless, his body completely unresponsive, a stark reminder of the deadly power of tetrodotoxin, kept alive by machines, his fate uncertain. Each beep of the monitors was a constant reminder of the precariousness of his situation. Doctors warned his family the dose was likely fatal, preparing them for the worst possible outcome. Then, on the 3rd day, a glimmer of hope emerged from the darkness. He twitched a finger, a tiny, almost imperceptible movement, but a sign that his body was beginning to fight back against the poison. Slowly, he regained movement and could breathe on his own. The paralysis gradually subsided, and his lungs began to function independently once more. Against all odds, Kenji survived, a testament to the resilience of the human body, and a stroke of sheer luck. But he never touched Fugu again. The near-death experience had shaken him to his core, forever changing his perspective on risk and reward. The lesson? A hard-earned lesson etched in the memory of a brush with death. Some forbidden foods are forbidden for a reason. Respect the wisdom of those who came before you and never underestimate the power of nature's deadliest creations. We're about to delve into a story that pushes the boundaries of human endurance, a tale of survival against all odds. It's a story about the choices people make when faced with unimaginable circumstances, and the ultimate taboo they were forced to confront. The year was 1972. A chartered plane carrying a promising Uruguayan rugby team, along with their friends, family, and supporters, tragically crashed high in the treacherous snow-covered Andes Mountains. The impact was devastating, leaving a scene of utter destruction. The few survivors found themselves stranded at a staggering 11,000 feet above sea level, a desolate and unforgiving environment. They were freezing in the sub-zero temperatures, exposed to the elements, and with almost no food, minimal supplies, and dwindling hope. The wreckage of the plane offered little shelter from the biting wind and relentless cold. In the immediate aftermath, they meticulously rationed what little they had managed to salvage from the wreckage. Precious chocolate, a morale booster and source of quick energy, meager snacks, offering a temporary reprieve from the gnawing hunger, and limited quantities of wine, initially used to celebrate, now a source of fleeting warmth and perhaps a numbing of the harsh reality. But as the days relentlessly passed, the pangs of hunger intensified and the bone-chilling cold grew utterly unbearable, seeping into their very core. Their bodies began to weaken, and their minds grew clouded with desperation. Then, one fateful day, the crackling transistor radio, their only link to the outside world, announced that the official search for the missing plane was being called off due to the insurmountable challenges and lack of any signs of life. The authorities, with heavy hearts, presumed them all dead, lost to the unforgiving mountains. Utter despair, a suffocating blanket of hopelessness, descended upon the survivors. Surrounded by the lifeless bodies of their friends and loved ones, a constant reminder of their grim predicament, the survivors were forced to confront an unthinkable, morally reprehensible choice, a decision that would forever haunt their memories. The relentless grip of starvation, the body's primal scream for sustenance, forced them to consider the most extreme of measures, cannibalism, a horrifying, deeply disturbing but ultimately logical option in their desperate fight for survival. After days of agonizing debate, wrestling with their consciences and grappling with the enormity of the decision, they finally made a solemn pact, a desperate agreement born of necessity, that in order to survive this unimaginable ordeal, they would have to consume the bodies of the deceased, their fallen comrades. The first cut, both literally and figuratively, was undoubtedly the hardest, a violation of everything they had ever believed in. They painstakingly used shards of broken glass, the only tools available to them, to carefully slice the frozen flesh, taking only what they deemed absolutely necessary to sustain themselves, acutely aware of the gravity of their actions. Many among them simply couldn't bring themselves to stomach it at first, the thought of consuming human flesh triggering waves of nausea and revulsion, but the relentless, gnawing hunger, the primal instinct to survive, eventually overcame their deep-seated revulsion and moral objections, and so, for over 2 long, agonizing months, this became their grim, horrifying reality, a desperate struggle for survival in the face of unimaginable adversity. They melted snow for precious water, their only source of hydration. They tended to the sick and injured, offering what little medical care they could provide with their limited resources. And they continued to consume the flesh of their deceased friends, a constant reminder of their desperate situation and the sacrifices they were making to stay alive. As if their situation wasn't dire enough, a devastating avalanche struck, killing 8 more of the already dwindling group of survivors, further compounding the horror and pushing them to the very brink of despair. Realizing that they couldn't simply wait for a rescue that might never come, that their survival depended on their own actions, 2 courageous survivors, Nando Parado and Roberto Canessa, made the bold decision to embark on a perilous journey to find help. They resolved to leave the relative safety of the crash site and venture out into the vast, unknown wilderness. Armed with makeshift gear, including a sleeping bag sewn together from seat cushions, they climbed for days on end, battling treacherous terrain, extreme weather conditions, and dwindling strength, only to be met with the disheartening sight of endless, snow-capped mountains stretching as far as the eye could see. But refusing to succumb to despair, fueled by an unwavering determination to survive and save their friends, they relentlessly trekked for a grueling week, pushing their bodies and minds to their absolute limits, until, by a stroke of incredible luck, they finally stumbled upon a Chilean farmer, a lone figure in the vast wilderness. A desperate note, hastily scribbled and thrown across a rushing river, ultimately led to a miraculous rescue operation, bringing an end to their unimaginable ordeal. After an agonizing 72 days stranded in the frozen Andes, 16 emaciated but incredibly resilient survivors were finally saved, pulled from the jaws of death. When the world finally learned the full, horrifying details of how they had managed to survive, the extreme measures they had been forced to take, it sparked a global debate, igniting passionate discussions about morality, ethics, and the very limits of human endurance. But for the survivors themselves, the answer was simple, stripped bare of all philosophical complexities. They had simply done what they had to do, made the impossible choice, to cling to life and make it back home. Our final story is pure legend, a whispered tale passed down through hushed voices and knowing glances. It speaks of unimaginable wealth, insatiable desires, and a culinary transgression so profound it borders on the mythical. Wealth, secrecy, the kind that shrouds fortunes built on shadows and whispers. We delve into a world where the price of pleasure knows no bounds, where morality is a mere inconvenience, and where the most extravagant whims are not only possible, but expected, and the ultimate forbidden meal. A meal so controversial, so ethically reprehensible that its very existence is shrouded in denial and conjecture. A meal that allegedly involved the consumption of something irreplaceable, something lost forever. Enter the ortolan bunting, a creature of delicate beauty and tragic fate. A tiny songbird considered a French delicacy, a culinary tradition steeped in controversy and ethical debate. Prepared in a way so cruel, so inhumane, that it has sparked outrage and condemnation across the globe. The process itself is a testament to the length some will go to for a fleeting moment of gustatory pleasure. It's been banned since 1999. A legal prohibition meant to protect this vulnerable species from the brink of extinction, a desperate attempt to curb a tradition that many consider barbaric. The bird is force-fed, kept in darkness, and engorged to unnatural proportions, a process designed to maximize its flavor and tenderness, but at a terrible cost. Then eaten whole under a napkin, a bizarre and unsettling ritual that adds another layer of mystique and macabre fascination to this already disturbing practice. Supposedly to trap the aroma, to fully immerse the diner in the sensory experience of consuming this forbidden delicacy, and hide the act from God, a desperate attempt to absolve oneself of the moral implications of this act, a tacit acknowledgement of the inherent wrongness of the practice. Despite the ban, the allure of the forbidden persists. Rumors swirl about a secret society, a clandestine network of individuals who operate outside the bounds of conventional morality and legal restrictions. Of billionaires and politicians, the elite of the elite, those who believe themselves to be above the law and beyond reproach. The Confrérie des Chevaliers du Tastavin, a prestigious and influential wine society, often finds itself at the center of these rumors, though they vehemently deny any involvement in such activities. Who gather for forbidden feasts, gatherings where the most extravagant and ethically questionable delicacies are allegedly served, pushing the boundaries of culinary excess to their breaking point. The wildest tale, a story so audacious, so unbelievable, that it challenges the very limits of credulity, that they once served the last breeding pair of ortolans, the final representatives of a species teetering on the brink of oblivion. At a secret dinner, a gathering shrouded in secrecy and fueled by an insatiable appetite for the rare and the forbidden. Chef Antoine Dubois, a pseudonym, a culinary artist known for his daring creations and willingness to cater to the most eccentric tastes, allegedly presented the birds as the centerpiece of a meal designed to shock and awe, a testament to the power and privilege of those in attendance. As the ultimate status symbol, a demonstration of their ability to acquire and consume something that was both incredibly rare and ethically reprehensible. Guests, napkins over their heads, participating in the bizarre ritual that has become synonymous with the consumption of ortolan buntings, ate the birds whole, bones and all, a final act of consumption that sealed the fate of a species, consuming not just a meal but a symbol of unchecked power and the devastating consequences of unchecked desire. But the end of a species, a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating impact that human actions can have on the natural world. The story leaked, causing scandal, igniting a firestorm of controversy and outrage that threatened to expose the dark underbelly of the elite. But no proof ever surfaced, the evidence conveniently disappearing, leaving only whispers and speculation in its wake. The society denied everything, issuing carefully worded statements that deflected blame and maintained their innocence. Whether true or not, the legend persists. It's a chilling example, a cautionary tale that serves as a stark reminder of the potential for human excess and the devastating consequences that can result. Of how far some will go, driven by a combination of wealth, power, and a perverse desire to possess the unattainable. For a taste of the forbidden, a fleeting moment of pleasure that comes at the expense of something far greater. For the ultra-rich, those who inhabit a world of unimaginable privilege and unchecked power, eating an endangered animal isn't about hunger, it transcends the basic need for sustenance and enters the realm of symbolic consumption. It's about power, a demonstration of their ability to control and manipulate the world around them, regardless of the consequences. And the thrill of doing what no one else can, of indulging in experiences that are beyond the reach of ordinary mortals, further solidifying their position at the apex of society. It's a dark reminder, a chilling testament to the potential for human greed and the devastating impact it can have on the delicate balance of our planet. For some, the rarest things, the most elusive and difficult to obtain, are the most desirable, fueling an insatiable hunger for the unique and the extraordinary, regardless of the ethical implications, no matter the cost, a willingness to pay any price, to cross any line in pursuit of the ultimate indulgence, a chilling reflection of the values that drive this exclusive and often ruthless world. That's a wrap on 3 of the wildest forbidden food stories ever. From deadly fish to desperate survival to the rumored crimes of the super rich, where would you draw the line? Would you risk it for a taste? What's the craziest thing you've ever eaten? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe for more insane stories. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.